Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. You ever feel like, man, these headlines, especially about tech,
Yeah,
it's just a lot, right?
yeah.
Well, today we're diving into that, specifically the power of stories in this age of AI. We've got some awesome insights from tech expert Amber Mack to guide us. Ready to unpack this?
I think Mac's insights are so relevant, especially now. It's easy to get swept up in all the AI hype, both good and bad. But her focus on storytelling, it reminds us to look past those surface level reactions.
Totally. It's like, you know that feeling when you're scrolling and a headline just kind of screams at you? Mack talks about how our brains were primed to latch on to those attention-grabbing stories, even if they only tell part of the story. She calls it negativity bias, which I find fascinating.
Yeah, it's like digital clickbait, almost hardwired into us. And this plays right into the whole attention economy thing. Algorithms, those things behind the scenes curating our feeds, they zero in on content that triggers those, like primal urges to click, share, comment, whether it's accurate or not, kind of scary.
It's wild, right? Like they're playing us. And this makes understanding complex stuff like AI is even trickier. Speaking of AI, Mac doesn't shy away from the risks. She dives right into those what if robots take over fears, like deepfakes. Imagine videos so real they can rewrite history, or AI being used in warfare, unsettling stuff.
Deepfakes are definitely a prime example of how AI can blur the lines between what's real and what's fabricated. It makes it hard to know what to trust. And the potential for AI-driven conflict, yeah, that's a huge concern. But to be fair, Mac also highlights the incredible potential of AI to solve some of the world's toughest problems, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Exactly, it's that double-edged sword dilemma. Like, picture this. You're at the doctor, right? Instead of waiting weeks for test results, an AI analyzes your scans instantly, even catching things a human doctor might miss. That's the power of AI in healthcare.
Absolutely, AI could revolutionize diagnostics and treatment. But there's also the risk of bias. If the algorithms are trained on data that reflects existing healthcare disparities, it could be incredibly efficient. Yeah, but also unfair. We could end up with an AI that's biased against certain groups of people. It's a tough one. What do you think about that? How do you weigh those potential benefits against the risks?
It really makes you think, right? It's a conversation we need to be having. But before we go too far down that path, Mac wants us to remember the positive AI stories out there, especially in addressing climate change and healthcare, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of positive advancements happening that we don't always hear about.
Oh, absolutely. Like researchers are using AI to analyze satellite images of rainforests. The tech can detect illegal logging happening in real time, which allows for a much faster response to protect these incredibly important ecosystems. It's like having a million eyes constantly watching over the planet.
That's amazing. It makes you realize the impact of the stories we choose to focus on. So how do we make sure these positive, solution-oriented AI stories are heard? What can we do as individuals to amplify them?
It starts with being more discerning about the information we consume. Don't just skim those headlines. Dig deeper, question those sources, look for different perspectives. And supporting responsible tech journalism, outlets dedicated to balanced and accurate AI reporting, that's crucial.
It's about actively shaping the AI narrative, not just passively consuming whatever pops up in our feeds, right?
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Mac's insights, here's the big takeaway for me. Negativity might grab clicks, but it doesn't always reflect the full story. AI, like any powerful tool, has the potential for good and bad. And the stories we choose to tell and believe will ultimately shape its impact on the world.
100%. We need to be mindful of the narrative surrounding AI. It's not just about feeding the algorithm, but engaging with all the nuances of this incredibly powerful tech. Because at the end of the day, it's up to us to steer AI towards a future that benefits everyone.
That's a great point to end on, and it leads perfectly into a final thought for everyone listening. What's one story about AI, good or bad, hopeful or cautionary, that you think deserves more attention? Sit with that question. You might be surprised by what you discover. Until next time, keep exploring, questioning, and keep the conversation going.